Good morning, respected sir and ma'am. My name is Pujita Krishnan, and I am pursuing my first year in Electronics and Communication Engineering Department, Section B, from Institute of Aeronautical Engineering. My roll number is 21951 A0477. Well, here I would like to present my AAT concept video presentation of Python programming on the topic difference between continue and past statements in Python. So before getting into our presentation, I would really like to thank my department for giving me this great opportunity as it helped me in gaining the subject knowledge and also how to make this PowerPoint presentation creatively and all. It really gave me a good, I had a good experience doing this. Thank you so much for this. Let's first get into our presentation right now. I would like to overview on this topic. Our topic's overview is about, firstly, we will know about the introduction of Python programming language and then its advantages and its some interesting facts about it and types of statements which is like about continuous statements and its usage, its example, and about break statement, its example and its usage, and last one is the third part is about past statement, which is the usage and its example. And lastly, we will know about the difference between the continue and past statements and its example, as that is our main topic. And lastly, we'll conclude with the conclusion. So let's start with our presentation. So firstly, what is Python programming language? Let us know about Python programming language. So, Python is a widely used general purpose high level programming language. It was created by Guido van Rossum in 1991 and further developed by the Python Software Foundation. It was designed with an emphasis on code readability, and its syntax allows programmers to express their concepts in fewer lines of code. Python is a programming language that lets you work quickly and integrate systems more efficiently. So Python is a high level general purpose and a very popular programming language, and it is being used, especially the latest Python 3, which is being used in the web development, machine learning applications, along with all cutting edge technology in software industry. Python programming language is very well suited for beginners and also for the experienced programmers with other programming languages such as C++ and Java. So this is about the introduction of Python programming language. A small gist of the Python programming language. Let us move on to our next slide. These are the advantages of Python programming language. So the advantages of Python programming language are presence of third party modules. There is a presence of third party modules. And second one is extensive support libraries such as NumPy for numerical calculations, pandas for data analytics, etc. And it's open source and community development. It's a very open platform, and it's platform independent. So it's a very easy to read, learn, and write. It's a very simple code and a very versatile one, which is makes the programmers to understand it very easily in a simpler way. It's a user-friendly data structures. It has user-friendly data structures, and it's a very high-level language, dynamically typed language. No need to, which is like no need to mention any data type based on the value assigned. It automatically takes the data type. we don't need to mention it separately. And so object oriented language, and it is portable and interactive. It's a very friendly and interactive language, and ideal for prototypes, which provides more functionality with less coding. Highly efficient, which means Python's clean object oriented design provides enhanced process control, and the language is equipped with excellent text processing and integration capabilities, as well as its own unit testing framework, which makes it more efficient. And IoT, which means the Internet of Things opportunities, also it provides. Python provides Internet of Things opportunities, and it's a very interpreted language, which means the language can easily be understood. The language can easily be understood by people and understandable language, and a very friendly language, like you can understand it easily, and you can it's easy to for you to write, learn, and read. And the last point is about portable across operating systems. It's very portable across all kind of operating systems. It's not particularly like C language. It's not like C language is like separately for this system, that system. It's not like that. It's for across all operating systems. It's portable. So these are the main advantages of Python programming language. So let's have a look at our next slide, which is about the facts about Python programming language. So what are the facts about Python programming language? Python is currently the most widely used multi-purpose high-level programming language. And Python allows programming in object-oriented and procedural paradigms. Python programs generally are smaller than other programming languages such as Java. Okay, so Python programming is something like just like smaller, and it's like it has easy readability than other programming languages like Java, C++, and all. So programmers have to type relatively less, and indentation requirement of the language makes them readable all the time. So here in Python, this point says that programmers have to type relatively less, like how you type in C++, C language, and all. You have to type the entire code, the given pattern, like the given program. You have to type, like you have to include hash, include main, scanf, printf. This all you have to include, and you have it make your procedure and your program kind of difficult and complicated. But whereas in Python, that is not the case. Like you can write it in a very simpler way, very simple way. It's only within your imagination. Like Python has only one disadvantage, which is like that is based on you as a person. It depends on your imagination. The more your imagination is, the more the Python programming is easy for you. Like it depends on how much you can imagine and use it in your skills, like use it in your program. Yeah, like you don't have to make it more complicated, just do it in a simpler way. And indentation is very important in Python. So when it comes to Python, the indentation, the spaces, the gaps between the uh, lines and all, you have to focus on it. But that makes it more readable all the time. It makes it more readable and clearer to the people. And if the indentation is not followed, then you won't get the output. So this is what the point says. And the next point is Python language is being used by almost all tech giant companies such as Google, Amazon, Facebook, Instagram, Dropbox, Uber, etc. Many platforms, many companies are using Python language. Even there are many GUI applications, such as like you use it for gaming sources such as PUBG and all. Also, many of these kind of games also use Python as most of the language. Like though they use C language too, but Python is also being used in a very efficient way. The biggest strength of Python is It has huge collection of standard library which can be used for the following ways. Let us have a look at this. So the biggest strength of Python is what? It can be used in machine learning, GUI applications like PyQt, Kiwi, and Kinter, etc. Web frameworks like the Django, which is used by YouTube, Instagram, Dropboxes, and image processing like OpenCV, Pillow, and all, and web scraping like Scrappy, Beautiful Soup, Selenium. So it is even used in web scraping. It is used in test frameworks. It is used in multimedia, scientific computing, and text processing, and many more. So there are many applications which where Python is being used in today's world, and it's a very usable and very easy and readable and very user-friendly language, which makes it more famous and popular among all the other languages. And it is mainly a very evergreen subject, evergreen language which has no end. So it has open source. So let us look at our next slide. Types of statements. So this is basically our topic for today, that is types of statements. So using loops in Python automates and repeats the tasks in an efficient manner. So this is why we use loops. Loops are used to repeat the task in an efficient manner. So this is why loops are used to automate and as well as repeat the tasks in a very efficient manner. But sometimes what happens is there may be a rise condition where you want to exit the loop completely, or skip an iteration or ignore that condition. So this kind of cases, this kind of specific and mm, specific cases and conditions, these can be done only by loop control statements. So what are loop control statements? Loop control statements can change execution from its normal sequence. So these, what happens is, this changes the execution from its normal sequence, like how the normal sequence goes one by one. But loop control statements helps you to exit the loop completely, or it even helps you to skip an iteration or ignore the condition. So in this kind of conditions, loop control statements plays a major role. So when execution leaves a scope, all at automatic objects that were created in the scope are destroyed, right? So Python supports what it supports the following control statements, which are divided into three types, which is continuous statements, break statement, and pass statement. So let us know what is the usage and why do we use a continuous statement. So continuous statement is used because loops in Python automates and repeats the task in an efficient manner, as I already said. But sometimes there are maybe like arrays of condition where you want to exit, complete, and skip an iteration. But these can be done by only loop control statement. So continue is a type of loop control statement which can alter the flow of the loop. So in this kind of conditions, continuous statements, it is only used for to alter the flow of the loop. Like if it keeps going, you can just what do you call it, stop it in between and start a new statement. So it helps you to continue like that. Like continuous statements helps you to alter the flow. You can change the flow of the loop. So this is why continuous statement is used. And what is continuous statement basically? Continuous statement is a loop which controls statement that forces to execute the next iteration of the loop while skipping the rest of the code inside the loop for the current iteration only. That is, when the continuous statement is executed in the loop, the code inside the loop following the continuous statement will be skipped for current iteration, and the next iteration of the loop will begin. Like, let's look at this diagram which explains the flow chart of the continuous statements and makes it more easier and clearer for us to understand. So what now we'll just take an function and the loop test expression. So if the loop test expression leads to condition to continue next iteration, if that leads to condition to next iteration, to continue next iteration, and if the next iteration is true, then you have to continue the statement, and then again you will go back to the loop test expression. Whereas if it is false, it executes remaining part of the loop. So if it is true, it continues the loop, and if it is false, it executes the remaining part of the loop. So this is what is a flowchart of the continue statement. So let us know about the example of continue statement. So this is a basic program which explains us about the continue statement. The Python program to demonstrate continue statement loop from 1 to 10. So here for I in range 1, 1 comma 1, let's take a look at this. For I in range 1 comma 1, if I is equal to 6, if suppose I is equal to 6, then continue to next iteration without printing. So if I equal to equal, that's why we take this thing as if I equal to 6, then you have to continue to the next iteration without printing. You don't have to print, but you have to continue. And if you continue, then you go to else. So if you go then else, otherwise print the value of I. So print the value of I. If continue is not possible, else like if I is not equal to 6, is not equal to 6, then else print the value of I and end equal to double quotation. So if you do this, this is the end. This is what you have to do it like. Sorry. So this is how we have to do it, like print I comma end. So the output of this program, you get it like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7, 8, 9, 10. Because if I equal to 6, then continue to the next iteration without printing, right? So so I is equal to 6, so you are continuing to the next iteration, so you don't have to print I. So that's why here I is not printed in this output. This out of 1 to 10 in the loop, there is no 6, because if I is equal to 6, then you have to continue, which is moving to the next iteration without printing the I value, or else you have to print I. But you already got here I equal to 6, so you just not include 6 over here in the input. So here the note is the continuous statement can be used with any other loop, also like while loop, in a similar way as it is used with the loop with for loop above. So like here it is used for loop for I in range 1 comma 11. So in this range, if it is used in this range, then obviously if it is used in this range of for loop, it can be also used for while loop in a similar way. So let us know about what is a break statement. 1 second. Let us know about the break statement. So what is break statement? Break statement is nothing but it's a in Python, it is used to bring the control out of the loop when some external condition is triggered. So when some external condition is triggered, then it is used to bring the control out of the loop. Break statement is put inside the loop body generally after if condition. So after if condition, it is usually generally put inside the loop body. Let's have a look at this flow chart, which is when you take some function and the loop test expression when you do, and if it is a true one, if it is true, then break, then you use break statement, then comes break statement. And if it is yes, if it is yes, then you have to exit the loop. Your if it what is it called as, if it is a true statement, then you will use break, and if that is true, and then you exit the loop. Whereas if it comes no, if it comes like no, then you have to exhibit the remaining body of the loop. So you have to go with the flow and exhibit the remaining body of the loop. And if the loop test expression is false, then it directly exits the loop. So that is about break statement. So why is break statement used for? Break in Python is a loop control statement. It is used to control the sequence of the loop. Suppose you want to terminate a loop and skip to the next code after the loop. Break will help you to do that. So this is how break will be helpful for you to use it in a program. A typical scenario of using the break in Python is when an external condition triggers the loop's termination. In Python, the break statements provides you with the opportunity to exit out of the loop when an external condition is triggered. You will put the break statement within the block of code under your loop statement, usually which is after a conditional if statement. This usually happens after a conditional if statement. So this is how it is useful. Break statement is useful. So let us have a look at the example of break statement, which is a program which uses break statement. So use of break statement inside the loop. For value in string, if value equal to I, break, then break. Print value, or else print the end. Print value and then print the end. So str. So for value equal to I, then you will get the output as str, and you will obviously be able to print the end. So here we have given that if you use break, as you see in this flow chart, wherein a loop expression, if it is true, then you use break statement, which further, if it is yes, then you will print the statement and exit the loop. You'll print the statement and exit the loop. So the same happens over here. So it breaks the loop because it prints the value and prints the end. So str and the end. This is the output of the break statement. So last statement is pass statement. What is pass statement? Pass statement in Python is used when a statement is required syntactically, but you do not want any command or code to execute it. So that is when you use pass statement. The pass statement is a null operation. Nothing happens when you execute it, but the pass is also useful in places where your code will eventually go but has not been written yet. This is where you use pass statement. And the pass statements also tells the program to disregard the condition and continue to run the program as usual. It can create minimal classes or act as a placeholder when working on new code and thinking on an algorithmic level before hammering out details. This is how pass statement is used. So here let us look at this flowchart, which explains us where do we use and where should we use pass statements, and how is pass statement useful in a program. So you start the program and enter some function, class, or loop, anything, loop expression, then loop condition like if or if, while, for, and all. Loop condition, end of the loop condition is true, then it passes, and if the pass statement is false, then loop code body is executed. But also if the pass statement is true also, the loop code body is executed. But whereas when you have the loop condition is itself false, this condition is itself false, then it directly comes to end. It ends the program then and there itself. But if that is true, then you have to follow these conditions. But if that is false, it directly ends the program. So this is an example which gives a program of pass statement. For letters in Python, if letter equal to h, then pass. Print, this is a pass block. Print current letter and which is a letter. Print goodbye. So this is the example. So if for letters in Python, so in this string Python, Python, if letter equal to h, then pass. So if it is pass, then print, this is a pass block, or else print a current letter, which is the letter, any letter, and print goodbye, which is wherein you in the letter you print h. So let's see what's the output. Current letter is P by T, and this is a pass block because here the pass is done. Like you give the pass statement, and if you give the pass statement and if it is true, then you obviously will print that this is a pass block. So you will get this as, you will be getting this as printed, this is a pass block. Then you will get again the rest of the letters automatically, like in the sequence itself you keep getting it, like Python in sequence you get Python, but in this is pass statement is used. And last you say a goodbye, so print goodbye. So if a letter equal to h pass, then you will print current letter and then you will print goodbye. So here comes goodbye. So here, coming to the explanation of the program, the preceding code does not execute any statement or code if the value of letters is h. This code does not execute any statement or code if the value of the letter is h. But the pass statement is helpful when you have created a code block, but it is no longer required. You can then remove the statements inside the block, but let the block remain with a pass statement so that it doesn't interfere with other parts of the code. So it doesn't make any difference. So but let it be because it doesn't interfere with other parts of the code. Let us know about the difference between pass and continue statement. The difference between pass and continue statement, which is basically our main topic for today. Pass statement is useful when you create a method that you don't want to implement yet, where continue statement skip all the remaining statements in the loop and move controls back to the top of the loop. Whereas in continue statement forces the loop to start at the next iteration, whereas pass means there is no code to execute here and will continue through the remaining of the loop body. This is the difference between pass and continue statements. Here is a picture which depicts a difference between continue and pass statements, which is a flow chart. So when you enter some loop and text expression of the loop, and if it is true, it will ask whether to continue or not. If it is yes, then you will automatically get directly to the text expression of the loop. And if the text expression of the loop is false, then you'll again come back to exit the loop. And if the continue is not required, if it is a no, then you'll go to the remaining body of the loop and again you come back to the text expression of the loop. Again, if that is again false, then again you'll exit the loop. So this is how the flow chart of continue statement goes. Here comes a pass statement. So here also when you enter the loop, and text expression of the loop. When text expression of the loop is true, it will ask whether to pass or not. When it is true or false, if it is true or false in both the cases, you will go to the remaining body of the loop. It doesn't matter, it doesn't interfere at all. In both the cases, you'll go and to the remaining part or body of the loop, unlike continuous statement. So this is the difference between this and this. Here, whether it is true or false, yes or no, you'll go to the remaining body of the loop anyhow, somehow. But if after that you go again back to a text expression of the loop, and if this is false, again you'll exit the loop and come out of it. So this is how the difference is about continue and past statement. This is a small example which explains us a program, simple program to find difference between past and continuous statement. If I in for I in hello, if I equal to e, then print pass executed, then pass. Print I, print apostrophe open quotation gas space for I in hello. If I equal to e, print continue executed and continue print I. So this is the difference. This is a same program where you know the difference between pass and execute continue statements difference. So let's see what's the output of this program. Output of the program is H E place in E place you get pass executed as they say if I equal to E, then print pass executed. So if it is equal to E, then you will print obviously pass executed. So it's executed. Then again you will get a gap for I in hello. For I in hello, if I equal to E, print continue executed. So it's equal to E. So obviously we'll get continue executed over here. And here there is no difference. Even though pass is executed, pass statement is applied and executed, still you have E, H, E, L, L, O in the same sequence. Only thing the pass executed will just separate H and E in between, but the rest of the sequence is very like same. There's no change in that. But whereas in continue, what it does is here the E is replaced, the E is gone. If I equal to E, continue executed. So in this, as given in this topic, saying continue forces the loop to start at the next iteration. There is no difference in that, there is no change in that. So it obviously will skip all the remaining statements in the loop and moves to the top. So here, because you told I equal to, if I equal to E, then continue executed. So it goes to the next iteration of the loop, which is continue executed, and E is replaced. So E is gone. E is not there in this continue statement. So this is a example which explains us the difference between past and continue statements. So let us conclude this topic by this small gist of the Python programming language, which is break, pass, and continue statements are loop controls used in Python. The break statements, as the name suggests, breaks the loop and moves the program control to the block of the code after the loop. If any is there, if anything is there, then it will control the block of the code. The pass statement is used to do nothing, but two of its uses are exception catching and if-elif chains. If-elif chains may be used and exception catching may be used. The fourth point is the continuous statement is the opposite of the break statement, and it is used to force the next iteration of the loop. Like as we saw in the previous example, it will force the next iteration of the loop. It won't be like a past statement. It's totally different. It'll replace the thing, and it will eliminate the letter and be replaced by it. Any lines of the code after the continue statement in the loop will not be executed. If you use this continue statement, any lines of the code after this continue statement in the loop will not be executed. So this is how we conclude this topic. So that's the end of my presentation, sir. Thank you for giving me this wonderful opportunity. and your feedback really matters to me, sir. I hope you give me a positive feedback. Thank you so much, sir, once again. Signing off, Pujita.